I want to talk to you a bit about spiritual fire. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I've been doing meditation for about 10 years. And it's been a bulwark in my life. It's been like a column upon which my life has been built. It's really meaningful for me. It is sort of the thing that I center my life on. And what I find fascinating about meditation is that it's not what I thought it was going to be when I started. And when I hear people talking about meditation, I often find that I don't know what people are talking about. Because my experience of meditation is very different from what I think is typical. And it involves this concept of spiritual fire. When I've heard people talk about meditation, they want to get into it because what they want is they want to feel centered or calm or peaceful. And there's this image in, I think, people's minds and through popular literature and whatever, that when you do meditation, you become like a Zen monk, where like nothing matters because you're cool with everything. And like that would be fine. And in my experience, there's some of that, but that's really just one flavor of many possible flavors when it comes to what happens to your consciousness when you get involved deeply in meditation. Spiritual fire is like what happens for me. And it's not a zenning out experience. It's a waking up experience where it becomes, as you go sort of inside and get deeper and deeper into the center of you, what turns out to be the case, and by you I mean me in here, right? When I say you, I'm talking about me, my experiences, is that the part of me that sort of stays buried underneath it all wakes up and becomes alive. And from that place, I can tell much more clearly what's important to me and what isn't, right? It's so easy to get wrapped up in like crazy, stupid stuff, like to read the news and get all wrapped up about what's happening in the news because there's always crazy things happening in the news, or to get wrapped up about what someone said, or to get wrapped up about like traffic, or to get wrapped up about that it's still chilly in Toronto and it should be warm by now because I grew up in Texas where it would be like, 38 degrees at this point in the year and it's driving me nuts. But like there's something of a reset that happens when you go inside and you feel the center of you, the fiery burning center, and you know what's important. There's a knowing. And there's a sense of somewhere in here not having to rely on anything outside of yourself for any sense of meaning, for nothing out here having to be different than it is. And the whole game that's being played is the one that's happening inside. And in realizing that, you can have control over the entirety of your emotional landscape because you're no longer waiting for something to happen out here. It doesn't matter what happens out here because it's about how you position yourself in here. And if you don't know what that looks like, if you don't know what's going on in here, then you can't do anything about it. But a meditation schedule, regularly doing it, can bring you further and further inside so that you know your own emotional landscape. Which is not necessarily about being zen or impassive. It can be, but it's not necessarily so. It can be anything you want it to be because you're free. So I want to put this position of spiritual fire in opposition to the idea of being calm. Because like when you get lit, when you get ignited by this sense of your inner self, it's exciting. And it's, I want to go back to this idea of meaning, right? How do we know what's meaningful? Don't know. But we can feel it, right? When most people say this means something or this is meaningful, it's because they something wakes up in them. Something is bright and alive. And we know something is meaningful because something awakens in us. There's this feeling of being ignited or lit up, right? Where we've gone out of the fog of the everyday into a sharpness of being awake in a certain way. Oh, this is important. This is important. this resonates with me. And so how do you find more of that meaning? How do you know how to seek out meaning? Well, first you have to get familiar with the flavor of what meaning feels like, and I think most of us know it when we feel it. But I would argue that some of it has to do with this concept of spiritual fire, which you can intentionally cultivate through meditation, which is why you might want to meditate. When most people say they want to meditate, and I hear why, it's generally because they want to calm down, or they want to become Zen, or they want to become centered, but I'm not sure that they know exactly what they're getting into. Some do. If you've done meditation for a bit, then you do know what you're getting into. Maybe you've had some experiences of different states of consciousness, but like people that haven't really had flavors of different states of consciousness, I don't think they know what they're going into. They just know that they want something, and it's probably in the line of Zen or calmness or peace or something. But it's been my experience that meditation itself is a challenge, and it's fiery and it's rough, and going into the center of yourself is a challenge. So the reason you might want to do this, I guess I want to invite you into this idea that it's not about calming down. It's about waking up and about getting excited and about finding meaning and about finding what's really important. And so at the end of the day, I think why you might want to do meditation is because you want to find out what is important. You might want to find out what really, 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 really matters to you. And it's easier to do that when you get to the center of yourself and everything else falls away. So it's easier to do that if there is a way to do that. Meditation has, for me, proven to be a consistent, solid practice on which I can deepen my sense of myself. In other words, you want to get strong, you go to the gym. If you go to the gym randomly, you may not ever get strong. You may not build anything ever. But at least if you follow a program of going to the gym, then you're going to get stronger. People have done it before. It's provable. It works. In the same way, if you want to deepen your understanding of the deepest part of yourself, which I think most people don't actually know what that feels like, but if you want to deepen your relationship to the deepest part of yourself, you have to have a reliable way to do that. And so you have to go to the gym. But in this case, you have a method of meditation that you can do daily. That's what I've done in order to come into contact with something which is vital to me. And I want to invite you, if this is the kind of thing that lights you up and you're interested in it, I want to invite you to maybe check out our upcoming workshop. It's in like a week and a half as of the making of this video. It's called Awakening the Third Eye, which is punchy. I mean, that's a sort of mystical sounding thing, but it works. It's called Awakening the Third Eye. It's an introduction to meditation in the school in which I've trained, which is called the Clair Vision School. And it's an introduction into a methodology of going inside, which I have found to be exceptionally deep and powerful. If you're looking for a way to go inside in a way that has a bit of a proven track record, at least coming from me, then I absolutely want to share that with you. And what I want to sort of invite you into is into this idea that the deepest part of yourself is actually on fire in a very good way. And if you're interested in seeing the flame that is you, then a way to start that journey, or to maybe find a toe into that journey, is to come to this workshop. And, I hope that whoever sees this video and is looking for something like that will come out and see us. And, if I can share something with you that allows you to awaken to a vitality and to a meaning and to an importance, then it would be my honor and my thrill to do that. So come find us, and we'll show you something. All right, thanks so much for checking this out, and maybe we'll see you soon. And I hope you have a magnificent and fiery and meaningful day. Cheers.